Hey everyone, it's Tarang and Sharon here again from Optimark, and now we want to walk you through the next step. So Sharon, if you could go ahead and open up that link that we had provided you earlier, and then we can kind of explain what happened with that data from that blog and what did we turn it into.
Sure, Tarang. Thanks for the introduction, by the way. So to begin with, the link that he provided, first of all, we went through all of the company names and then sorted out them into a new sheet like this, and we appropriately separated them by their company names, their URLs, the first name, last name, title, contact, email, and all the other necessary information that was needed. And we did it for all of the 43 of them, from Alezo Health to the Casper one.
Awesome. So what that's telling you guys is typically a bottleneck for most salespeople half the time is the actual research. And so at Optimark, we fundamentally want to change the processes to how salespeople go out and sell. We'd rather you guys be relationships people and deal closers rather than doing the research. So what we've done now is we've collected the appropriate data as best as we could based on whatever information we could find online and through other social media networks like LinkedIn or Facebook, and we've done that. What's not done yet is, as a little added token, I always like to be able to connect with these companies individually and be able to create a friend request. So let's just pick one, for example, Sharon, if you could go ahead and get into my LinkedIn and let's just pick one company from here and let's make sure we initiate the appropriate LinkedIn request. And what we've seen is statistically, the response rate is considerably higher when we have an individual that has a connection through LinkedIn. It's a little bit of a warmer call, and depending on your position at the company, you might have a little bit more influence than others. So let's go through an example of friending those individuals. Normally we try to do that process before, but in this case, we're gonna do it after we do the import. So Sharon, why don't you take charge and let's pick a name or a company you wanna go after.
Yeah, sure. So to begin with, we'll take the example as, say, JustWorks. We'll just find it on the LinkedIn page. So we have the company here. To the right hand side, we can see all of the connections that are related to JustWorks. So we'll just have a look at all of them. Here, the first name itself is the founder and the CEO of the company. So we can just connect.
And the reason in this case we could connect was because I happen to have a lot of mutual connections. So one word of advice for any salesperson that's looking to build their business, you always want to make sure you're on top of your game with regards to LinkedIn. It's a very, 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 very useful tool that's going to allow you to be able to get your foot in the door a lot of places, but it's a lot of work to maintain and keep up to it. So I think it's definitely worth the time. If you, Sharon, could click down on the shared connections, a lot of times a shared connection might be the gatekeeper to get you in the door. But in this case, I don't have relationships with these other shared connections strong enough to the point where I'd ask for an introduction. But simply because we are within the same kind of entrepreneurial circuit, there might be a higher likelihood for him to go ahead and accept that invitation. So now, Sharon, let's go back. Make sure you got the name for Isaac Oates, and then put that information back into the CRM so we have that that relevant data. So now she's done the research. We at least know there's a name dropper to go after, which was Isaac Oates. That's not even filled in under first name, last name. So she should go back and clean up that data on cell number C7 and D7. Now Isaac, in this case, he might not be the buyer because he's the owner of the company, but he's at least gonna gear us in the right direction. Yeah. Especially since it's a startup. We're not going after IBM here. So there's a good chance that we're gonna get an opportunity to at least know where to go, assuming he responds. And now on their LinkedIn status, Sharon, if you can go ahead and update this.
You had more connections with the other two people on there as well.
With the other two.
JustWorks, yeah.
Exactly.
You had more connections than the first guy, than the CEO.
So what would happen is later, not today, not in this session, we're gonna work on improving the efficiencies for that. So that'll walk you through the step of the data entry being done. And now the next session we're gonna have is gonna go over actually taking this data and moving it into our CRM.